So what was it like getting your first bike? Do you remember? Was it Christmas morning? Do you remember doing your
My
first
first
trick?
bike.
Yeah.
Like I stole my first bike. I never got anything for Christmas. I think it was behind the Pong factory.
No, pay attention. Creepy weirdo.
I would like a strong, powerful woman to protect me.
He'll fight for America.
Hip, poopy square.
The Playable Characters Podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome to level 196 of Playable Characters Podcast. This is Brian. As always, for 196 weeks straight, everybody. Are you sick of me yet? Hope not. Episode 200. Just a month away. The big 200. Can we finally get fucking Mario on this thing? That piece of shit? I don't know. We will see. We've had some requests. We're going to have some fun, everybody. 4 to go for the big 200. We're going to do something special. We got some ideas. We had a fun year in 2020. We had a lot of good people on, a lot of good guests. What was your favorite moment? Let us know. Tweet at us at Playable Podcast. People told us their favorite character, their favorite episodes. I like hearing that stuff. It keeps me going, obviously. We need the reassurances. Happy New Year still. Are we still saying that? It's January 11th. I don't know. Why not? Let's keep going. People, let's dive in today. You see your guests on your phone. You see who we got today. A legend in the business. I mean, one of the first games that everybody owned. I had it. I still play it on my Switch. It's just a fun thing. We have the original Daredevil bad boy himself, kind of the guy from Excitebike. How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. How are you?
It's so cool to have you on. I love you. Still wearing the helmet?
I haven't worn the helmet in quite a while, much to my detriment. But yeah, I haven't really been on the bike in quite a while, actually, to be honest with you.
Oh, really? Well, I think you'd still be out. I mean, obviously, it was 40 years ago, the game, but so
yeah. Look, I mean, does it bring back good memories? Not really, to some point, I guess. But I mean, it was a fun time, whatever. But I mean, I'm happy to be on your little show. But I mean, the biking stuff. I mean, I have a lot of stories for you.
Well, we can definitely get in. Yeah, get into it. Like what made you get into bikes in the first place? Like I had a bike as a kid, but I never took it to that extreme. Like what made you kind
of long story short, it was the early 80s.
Right.
And I was just getting into the motocross world, and lo and behold, Shigeru Miyamoto came to one of my events and just said that he was making a motocross game.
Okay.
And next thing I know, I'm on the plane to Japan, and were
you a child at this point? Or no?
I was, God, what was I? Yeah. My age was undetermined at the time, so I could have been whatever. I'm not even sure how old I am now.
Oh my God.
I mean, look, my name is Excitebike Guy. Do I have a straight up real person name? No. So it's like,
I didn't even ask. I'm sorry.
What's my age? What's my name? It's all very, look, when you're in the video game world, like I have a lot of friends that are stand-up comics, and they'll tell you like backstage, everybody's age is kind of like the same. Basically. Right. We're almost, yeah. So I feel like video game characters like me, we're all just, what is age really?
What is it really? Yeah. What is it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I got it. So you went to Japan. Yeah.
I'll tell you that I'm old now. I'll just say that. But
yeah, it's been a while. We're all old now. Okay.
Yeah, I went to Japan. It was really cool. I was such a dumb kid too at the time. So it was like he went over everything, and it was like, well, we'll have solo levels where it's like time trials, but then we'll also have like, versus, with other players. And I was like, okay, great. I'm going to meet some other motocross players. Found out later, no, it was just, I was actually playing everybody in the game.
Oh,
just through the magic of camera technology and all that. Did I get paid for all that? No, I still got the same rate. And that's
fair. Look,
okay, it paid my bills. It put me where I am today, but not treated the best.
I'm so sorry to hear. Yeah, that's sting. I wonder who was behind that decision to not. I mean, you played all the characters. Look, you should be able to.
If you talk to any Nintendo guys from that time, Little Mac, any of the guys from ice hockey or whatever,
right. Like we had skinny ice hockey player on once.
Yeah, the fast ones. Yeah, they were great. I partied with those guys so fucking much.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, it was the 80s. But if you talk to any of those guys, especially the guys in the more sports related games,
right?
Look, Nintendo back then would just chew you up and spit you out. And
That's sad.
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
really sad. Yeah.
they were churning out hits. I guess they had to do what they did. You know.
No, it was all about, look, this was the Reagan era too. You have to understand. And it was all very, go Wall Street, greed is good.
Right.
And where does the Excitebike guy fall in that? Well, he doesn't really. They're not really thinking about his well-being.
We
right?
hear this. We hear this story sometimes from guys who were very popular in the 80s and just kind of didn't have that second wind, like Q-Bert, for example, was on. He was a big cokehead now, obviously, and have going through some.
Oh, yeah.
But there are people that, we feel that's why we hope this podcast will help you. Maybe you'll get a different game. Do you want another game? Do you want to be on the Switch? Do you want like a brand new?
I don't know what I would do because they've tried to bring back Excitebike a few times.
64 wasn't that great. Sorry. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Look, dude, you don't have to say that to me.
Was you? Was that you?
Oh, as soon as that came out I was just like, no, this is. I look at how Cyberpunk turned out this year, and it's just like, yeah. I've been there. I've been there.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they've tried to bring the game back a few times, and look, you're never gonna match what it was, so why even bother? But also, I mean, I'm doing the best I can. I
hope so. Yeah.
I sell Herbalife.
Yeah.
That gets me through.
It's like a pyramid scheme.
I mean, it's a little harder now because I can't have people over at my house because of quarantine, of course. But
sure. You got those parties, right? Like a Pampered Chef party or something.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah.
On Zoom, I guess, or
it's hard enough trying to sell Herbalife to people face to face, but to do it over Zoom, good fucking. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, there's always. I got a whole garage full of Excitebike cartridges. I could just sign those. And do that once in a while. Just sign those and put them out on eBay for I don't know, like $7.50 a pop, something like that. And
$700 or $7?
No, $7.50. Yeah,
that's not a lot.
I have a lot of them though, so I mean,
well, if they're signed by the guy, you should probably charge a little more, maybe $50. I mean, they were worth $50 back then.
It's a cup of coffee. Yeah. Look, you got to take what you can get. It's look. I don't know. After you've been through what I've had, and you've had money come and go, you get $7.50. You really appreciate it. You learn to appreciate it.
I didn't know you were doing this poorly. I'm sorry. You probably go like a retro video game con and like sell your cartridges. Maybe get a picture. Charge $20.
I've been to a few of those. Yeah. I don't know, man. To see like
not your thing.
God, I did one in. I want to say Jersey a few years ago with King Hippo from Punch Out.
Oh my goodness, we'd love to have him on. Yeah, he's hard to get.
He's hard to be around.
I bet.
And we were signing autographs and meeting these people, and he loves it. Hippo, that's his thing. Sure. He can clean up over there. He does the whole dropping his pants thing, and people, oh, that's great. And then like me, like, look, what are you gonna have me do? Bang my head on the ground and fall off a bike? Like,
right. So many times.
I can't. Hippo doesn't need to take a punch anymore. He could just do his little pants gimmick. But my gimmick was wiping out.
Speed. Yeah. We had Marion, the Double Dragon Brothers girlfriend, on a few months ago, and she goes to cons and she lets people punch her in the stomach because at the beginning of her game, remember, she was taken away by that gang, and that's her thing. So
yeah, see, I don't know about that. I just look, if that's her gimmick, fine. But
yours, right? Yours doesn't translate to a con, I guess. Yeah.
I think it kind of speaks more. Like, I'm not gonna badmouth her at all, but I think it kind of speaks more to what the video game world does. The industry does to these people, to the point where we shouldn't be bashing her for letting people punch her in the stomach for money. We should ask ourselves what kind of industry pushes somebody to the point where they're going to go to a con like that and resort to having people punch them in the stomach for money.
That's an excellent point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just,
I feel bad playing games now. I'm sorry.
Look, play the games, by all means. Otherwise, don't let these people suffer in vain.
That's right.
it's better now, of course, with these like, I think the kids today are getting treated a hell of a lot better than we were back in the 80s. But
I hope so. A lot more shooting now, though. Like
that was one thing too. And if there's one thing that I could like that, I'm glad you brought that up because look, when you look at these games now, I'm really proud about the fact that I was the main character of a game where you didn't shoot anybody, you didn't bash anybody's head in.
You barely killed anybody.
No, yeah.
Maybe a couple of bruises,
and that was really good to be a part of that for kids, especially back then. Everything was so violent, and it just got worse and worse. So to be that for children was really good for me. Also, the pussy was amazing that I picked up from that game. I don't know if we can say that on your podcast here.
Too late. Go for it.
Yeah. No, it was just so much ass. And then also being a game that was good for kids. That was great too. But also, I played so much.
The best of both worlds. There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I guess chicks or dudes dig the BMX guy, definitely.
Yeah, at that time, yes. As 8-bit went to 16-bit and so on and so on. Maybe I didn't look like the best option for some people, I guess. Some people didn't really want to go for the classic, but do
you
oh, he's so poorly written. Shut up.
Yeah. Do you do skateboarding also, or is like BMX your main thing? Do any other like extreme sports ever, or do you stick to bicycles?
Well, that was the thing too, was that makes me think, okay, so it was like the late 80s coming into the 90s. Excitebike is we'll say the engine's really cooled down on Excitebike. Sure. And I wasn't ready to hang it up. So I hear about this game that they're coming out with, California games.
Oh, I love it.
Everybody, you could do there's hacky sack and surfing, and
we had the surfer on a few months ago. Yeah, we had him on once.
Yeah. And I believe they even had a BMX.
They sure did. Right? You do the flip, spin in the air and the turnaround 360 thing. It was fun to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, they came to me and said, "Do you want to do the BMX?" And I thought, yes, but also if I'm gonna do something, we got this new decade coming up. Let's try to see what else I can do. Mm-hmm. So I offered to do the skateboarding, and I quickly found out that video game skateboarding is not video game motocross, and
much harder.
It was not for me. I tried, but then by the time I was like, okay, I think I'll do the BMX thing, it was no, that's too late. That ship has sailed. So
they already booked somebody else.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just a long list of me being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
They had what else? They had surfing. They had frisbee throwing. You could throw a frisbee, I'm sure, right? That was a California game, apparently.
Yeah, look, I'm not gonna go from motocross to
short.
Nothing against people who decided to spend their lives doing that. If that's how you want to live your life, fine. Throwing a frisbee, I don't get it, but all right. I'm sure a lot of people don't get me doing motocross, but we all do our own thing.
It's dangerous. It's fun. Those
frisbees?
No. Well, in frisbee, you have to dive for the frisbee, and I would always miss, and I would smash the girl's face on the ground by accident because you had to control the girl to catch it with your finger, and you'd catch the frisbee. But when you dive like 6 inches, and the frisbee would whiz past your head, and you just fall on your face. So it's pretty dangerous. But motocross is definitely much more dangerous.
Yeah, thank you.
Because those dirt patches on your tracks, they really fuck everything up. Every now and then you have
there was so much. Yeah.
What is that? Is that supposed to be there, or is it just bad maintenance? What's going on with that?
Oh, were they supposed to be there? No. If you ask Miyamoto, oh yeah, it was always his plan to have them. Look, those courses, when I showed up on set, I was so shocked. I figured a company like Nintendo would be able to afford something. No, they didn't have any concept of motocross at all. They didn't know how a course gets designed.
Yeah.
They didn't smooth out anything. Those patches of dirt were not supposed to be there. And then what really blew my mind was when they announced, that you could create your own courses.
Yeah.
That was a big thing. So it was like, okay, now we're going to put that in the power that power is going to be put into the hands of these kids playing the game. Well, Christmas morning, all these kids make these crazy courses, and
You have to play them?
I'm blowing through what? Just this unlimited line of dirt wads and shit, and then like all these ramps, and like you remember how the game went.
Oh yeah.
You
Small
go
ramp,
up and
big ramp.
kind of,
Yeah.
just like real life, just like how we do in real motocross, you got to land the front wheel down and everything.
Sure.
Try doing that when there's a ridiculous number of ramps and dirt everywhere and shit, and feel like you've taken something and put it in the hands of children and had them design a course. And could that be why I suffered this many blows to the head at this point? And I can't remember how to get home at night, and I don't know what my kids' names are or anything. Maybe.
Oh, you have kids too?
They completely put that in the hands of children, and I had to take the hit for it.
Wait, so you have kids?
I don't want to get too real on here. I know this is a fun podcast,
No,
but
this is what it's for. Well, I never realized that us making those crazy tracks forced you to play them immediately. I didn't know that. I feel terrible.
No, of course not. Look, and then don't put that against, look.
It wasn't
kids that play it. They don't know that.
It wasn't in the book anywhere. It wasn't in the instructions. Yeah.
No. And I mean, I feel like kids that play video games, Nintendo wants them to feel that way. They want that degree of separation because they don't want you to get this feeling that you're doing this to somebody. But
they do say now you're playing with power, so it is kind of godlike in a way.
Yeah. That might have been what they were trying to say all this time, that they were putting this godlike power in children's hands. And
that's horrifying.
Yeah.
What about those speed strips? Those are always fun. Did that feel crazy in your life? Like when you just were going regular speed, all of a sudden you'd go like Mach 3 right down the
It was jarring. Yeah. It was jarring at first because those don't really exist in like your standard motocross because of physics and how things work. But it was fun to get. I mean, in the 80s anyway, it was always about just getting, like a little. There were a lot of situations where you would just get a little boost of energy for a little. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Sure.
So it was fun to kind of
feels like that.
Yeah. So it kind of reminded me of that. It was just more of that whole spirit of the time. Just hit the line and get a little bit of speed, but don't overheat. Don't, That
was a big problem. Kids who didn't understand between A and B. A is regular, B is speed. The nitric, you overheat your engine there. That's rough. That
was one of the things that brought me to the game.
The nitro boost?
Yeah, because I went over it with them and they were like, okay, so A is accelerate. Yeah, right. Sorry. And B is brake. And I'm just thinking, like, you're gonna make it that fucking easy, and I had to explain to them about how an engine works.
There's no brake
and overheating and temperature, and oh yeah, okay. I'm like, oh.
Got real. Look at
I knew it was a bad sign when I showed up, and I had to explain that to them. They got to that point, and it was like, if I figured they would have done their research ahead of time, but
I feel like they just bought like an abandoned BMX track and just said, here you go, have at it. Like they didn't really put some work into it, huh? They just kind of let you go nuts. Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was like that, but it was damn close. It just felt like, but it was the spirit of the time too. It was a lot of, look, at that time, if you remember all these like sports games that they had, it was almost like, it's funny, they all had these like very socialist kind of names, just like baseball, football, basketball, like early on Nintendo sports games were like that, and they were just trying to break out of that and make it a little different. Like they could have just called it bike,
right? But
it was Excitebike. They wanted to get some excitement behind it, and
cool name. You got to give it to them. It's a cool name.
But still, the same spirit of it. It was just like, they had to get it out. Just we have football coming out, and this coming out, and so it just things didn't really seem like they were thought through too much at that time. So I was glad. Go ahead.
Yeah, were they worried for your safety? Like I said, was I guess not. Like you get run over by your. So I guess you said before, those are all you little clones of yourself in a way. You get run over by yourself multiple times. I guess is that jarring to see your Duke when you fall?
Yeah, it was like an early version of motion capture in that way. How it all worked out. Look, it's all a blur.
Yeah.
That whole decade is a real blur to me. I don't remember exactly how. Like, I didn't understand the technology then. I don't understand it now. But it, no, it was. So there was a lot of identity crisis there. Which one of these guys am I? Led to that too. A lot of confusion, and yeah, no, like, and I don't know if I mentioned before. Of course, I'm still getting paid the same, even though I'm playing.
Right.
So I'm all over the game basically. But yeah, no, it was.
They cover your hospital bills at least, I hope.
I mean, so much of it took place in Japan. So how they are over there, like, I was taken care of to a point. Nintendo, they want to make it sound like, oh, we care about our family. No, they want to protect their investment. They knew that they would never find another video game motocross guy to do this.
I got you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
What did your parents? I mean, do you have parents? How do they feel about this? That you going to Japan and being in this pretty extreme game?
I never met my dad. My mom was very upset, and we haven't spoken since I left for Japan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Reached out to her for Christmas, and we'll see if she gets back to me. But yeah, she was very. She came from
Wait, so
her dad.
Her
Christmas dad was he was in an Evel Knievel Atari game that did never come out, and so it really hit close to home for her. This whole idea of me.
I got it. You reached out this Christmas that just passed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe to give it a little more time. Because that was just last week, but
yeah, but not to be grim. I mean, 35, 40 years later. You think
she died of COVID
or something?
Yeah, she
old
probably
age.
did.
Maybe just old age, just natural causes. It's been a while.
Yeah, and to be honest, I don't even know if I called the right person.
Yeah, you like you said, your memory's a bit of a blur.
I don't guess, but yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? She's probably dead, but I feel like she would have asked me for money by now if she were alive.
It's possible.
Money that I don't have. But she,
right. Well, hey,
she wouldn't have known that. But yeah, no, my parents, no, my family life is terrible, to tell you the truth.
Jeez,
and
do you remember getting?
I feel like Nintendo played a huge role in that.
So, what was it like getting your first bike? Do you remember? Was it Christmas morning? Do you remember doing your first?
My first like bike?
Yeah,
actual bike. I stole my first bike. I never got anything for Christmas. Yeah, no, I was 12, and I found a bike just sitting out. I think it was behind the Pong factory.
Nice, yeah. That's where they are.
Because I come from a video game land, of course.
Yes, of course.
And that's where it all started. But yeah, no, I mean nothing was really given to me.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Do you have a lot of first place? I mean, I guess if every character is kind of you, do you have a lot of trophies from winning all these races that you were in the Excitebike game, or what?
Nintendo has a lot of brass rings for you. They like to give you a lot of trophies and shiny things and all that. But yeah, look, do they mean anything? No, So I've got most of the, and I'm doing air quotes right now to symbolize, if I don't know, people can, if you're not seeing this on video, that's what I'm doing.
Quotes, everybody, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if people know what air quotes are, but we do. When you put two fingers in the air and go like this, that means you're not really saying it, but you are. So those trophies in air quotes that Nintendo gave us, I've sold more of them than I've kept. What did I say? Yeah, $750 for a cartridge. About $5 for a trophy.
I think you're lowballing all this stuff.
I try to sell one of those a week, and then that's I go to Subway and get a 6-inch crab, and
I think you're lowballing your prices. You could probably go higher, I think.
I think I can go higher too, but years of trying to go higher has kind of showed me that no, like I guess the people have spoken and they've told me what my price range is. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It would be nice if it was more, but we take what we can get.
Yeah,
People don't really have a lot of excitement of Excitebike.
After this, they
anymore.
will. After this, they definitely will. I think. I hope so.
The last podcast I was on, the guy said the same thing.
Oh,
so,
sorry, we're better. I hope. You ever do one of those Vegas shows where they put you inside like a big giant ball and you just like ride around with like 12 other people, like a bunch of maniacs?
Not Vegas, Reno, yeah, yeah, Reno quite a bit. Fort Lauderdale. I tried to do it on spring break at Fort Lauderdale, but they were all booked up then, so I had to do it in the dead of winter,
Okay.
And nobody was there. It's not a good time for Fort Lauderdale,
No.
but
you could light the cage on fire, maybe. I don't know. Put a little
yeah, okay, yeah. Why don't you go into a cage on fire and tell me how that goes? Yeah.
a slight little twist. So you're not still biking. You said you kind of gave that up, right? Do you miss it?
Yeah, it was the only thing I was ever really good at, and partially, I mean, like I'd like to bike again, but do my knees want to bike anymore? No, I don't think so. Does my head? Yeah.
You just got it sitting down. I'm sorry, I don't want to diminish it, but
you kind of are diminishing it. It's there's a lot to it. I don't think.
Sure.
If you remember earlier, I talked about how you land your tires down right when you take a ramp. People don't ever think about that. Overheating engines,
right?
Things like that. People don't take into account. Something people don't really take into account is how shitty the helmets were that Nintendo gave us.
It's like the NFL. Just realizing helmets help. Yeah.
I know you had Little Mac on the show once, or did
we didn't have Little Mac? No, we had a few other boxers like Soda Popinski. He's not well, obviously.
No.
Glass Joe. He's had a lot of concussions.
Oh yeah, those guys especially.
Yeah.
They really chewed him up and spit him out, and I was actually getting involved in a like a class action suit with a lot of the guys from Punch Out.
Oh really? For what?
Over head injuries.
Yeah. Bad working conditions and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we went into Miyamoto's office and tried to be civil about it. And basically, he just took the legal documents and threw them right back in my face and said, "Get the fuck out." And when people ask me, "What's Miyamoto really like?" I have no problem telling them exactly what he's like. And
we always hear he's great. Yeah, the father.
Yeah. Well, let's just say the Excitebike guy is not excited about Mr. Miyamoto.
Jesus. Well, so all the other boxers and you. Well, who else was there? I would imagine maybe who else got hit in the head a lot back then. I guess the original Mario.
Well, we were all there except of course Mr. Dream. He didn't want to show up because
fake ass Tyson. Yeah.
Mr. Dream is one of the biggest pieces of shit in the video game world. Really? And just look. Do you want me to go off on Mr. Dream right now?
Let's do it.
I will. I'll shoot hard on Mr. Dream right now.
Let's just do it. No one ever has. Interesting. Exclusive.
Look, it was Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Right.
Okay. It was Mike Tyson's Punch Out. And
it'll always be Mike Tyson.
Doesn't matter what he did.
Well,
okay. I mean, that does matter what he did, but in terms of the video game.
Correct.
Okay? So when I got word of what happened with Mike, which was a bummer because I like Mike a lot. Yeah, sure. I still do. We used to part. It would be me, him, the Coreys, Feldman, Heyman, Hart, and my friend Corey Thompson from high school. So the four Coreys and Mike, Little Mac, and Luigi. Yeah. Mario never wanted to hang out. It was always
Luigi's fun. He was on.
Mario was always. Oh no, I've got to go home and stretch for but very much kissing Miyamoto's ass, of course. But we used to always hang out at like the Viper Room and shit. And yeah, Mike was great. I always liked hanging out with Mike. And I was but when what he did happened, and Nintendo immediately. This was before cancel culture, by the way.
It was immediate. It was right away.
Yeah, and it was immediately pull him off the game, re-release it with somebody else, and in walks Mr. Dream, who didn't earn anything.
Yeah.
who didn't take the hits that all those guys took.
He was a
and
good
just
fighter.
felt-
He was a good
Yeah.
fighter, technically, sure, but he didn't earn. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, he didn't earn his spot. He didn't suffer nearly the amount of blows that the other guys did, and he thought he was hot shit. And yeah, I never liked Mr. Dream. Always hated him.
Yeah, whenever I see that version, I'm like, no, I'm not playing. I'll play up to Macho Man, then I'll stop. I'm not gonna fight Mr. Dream. Screw
That's
that.
all you need to do. Yeah, no Tyson, no Punch Out.
I hear you.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you spilled that tea, as they say, as the kids say.
Mhm.
That's interesting. Yeah. We should
Yeah, look, there's a lot of other characters in the old 80s Nintendo world I can tell you crazy stories about.
Yeah.
But I do that, and I'm sure tomorrow I get a notice from Nintendo telling me to keep my big mouth shut. I've got a pile of those too. I saw those. Those actually go for more than $750. I sell cease and desist letters from Nintendo, $20 a piece on eBay, and I got a lot of them.
Oh my god! Wow, that's funny.
Mhm.
That's great. I didn't expect that. Wow, they really. So, do they still pay you any residuals or anything? Are you still like on the payroll? No, okay. Yeah.
The only money I still make off Excitebike comes from I will do cons once in a while, as much as I can't stand them, but they're offshoot cons. They're not Nintendo. They're a lot of the third party devices that were used on Nintendo, like the Game Genie con,
Mad Catz Con.
Mad Cat Con, yes. God. Yeah, stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So video
Okay.
games, but not really, kind of.
I
Yeah,
hear you.
so.
Definitely. All right.
Mhm.
We gotta go in a minute. Any other last things you want to tell the fans or anything that about your career? Any advice for young kids getting into BMX or anything, or anything you want to tell them?
Stay away from Miyamoto.
Yeah.
If you know what's good for you, and don't let your engine overheat.
That's great advice in life and in racing.
Yeah, I'm not just talking about bikes neither. Yeah, don't let
Sure.
your engine overheat.
Not
I have that tattooed on my back. It's a full piece.
Oh my goodness.
With the Monster Energy logo in the back, kind of.
That's pretty badass, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's super badass. It's the most badass tattoo ever, probably.
You want to play a quick game with me before we go?
Hell yeah, dog.
Let's play a game of Wed Bed Dead, everybody. So Wed Bed Dead, Excitebike Guy. I'm going to give you 3 video game characters. All you got to do is tell me who you want to wed, who you want to bed, and who you want dead. All right.
Okay.
This first one, I didn't know who this was. I had to look him up. It's all random, everybody. Beep, bop, boop before the show. This is from the main guy in Final Fantasy V. Bartz Klauser is his name. Also in Japan goes by Butts Klauser, I found out, which is hilarious. Looks like Kid Icarus a little bit. He's got he's got the tight leotard on. He's got a big sword. He might be like a little typical sad Final Fantasy person. He is, because he's a son of one of the original Warriors of Dawn, and his mom's name is Stella. That was like an extra fact. His mom died when he was young. Yeah, his mom died when he was young. His father died before the game even started. So he decided he's a wanderer. He decides to wander the world, and his name is Butts or Bartz, whatever you want to call him.
Well, this kid sounds like a lot of fun to be around.
That's the first one. Yeah. This next one is a fighter from one of my favorite fighting games, Injustice 2. We got Lobo, who is super fun. Lobo, is he in Injustice 1 or 2 or both? I forget.
1.
Oh, just in 1. Okay. Yeah. But Lobo's awesome. He's a international bounty hunter. Smokes cigars. He's got chains. He's got a motorcycle. You two can bond that way. He's very fun. He's very gross though, right? I think he's a pretty gross guy, but he's super.
Seems
funny.
like the kind of dude I would love to hang out with.
I think you would, yeah.
Yeah.
And one of my favorites ever, we got Chun-Li from Street Fighter 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Hello. Okay.
All the Chun-Lis, yeah. So she's one of the best.
I already know my answers.
She's a cop. Got them thighs, got them kicks. So what are your choices here, Excitebike Guy? We got Butts, Lobo, or Chun-Li. Wed, Bed, Dead. What category?
All right. In that order?
Yeah, whatever.
Dead, wed, bed.
So dead.
Okay.
Dead.
Yeah,
Butts?
he's dead. The Final Fantasy little wiener kid, dead.
Right. Yeah, okay.
Dead. All right. Lobo. Yeah. I'm marrying Lobo because it just seems like we can have a lot to talk about as far as bikes.
It's a good match. You can just ride off together. You know,
Mm-hmm. He looks. I think I would feel safe with Lobo. He looks like he could help me and defend me.
He'll protect you.
And sometimes we just want to be held, you know.
I hear you.
And then Chun-Li, yeah.
You bet Chun-Li.
There's no question. There's no.
Out of these choices, you're probably
was
right.
that?
Out of these choices, you're probably right. Yeah.
Konami wanted to buy the rights to Excitebike, and I went to a Konami Christmas party, and Chun-Li was there, and I tried so hard, and
didn't work. No.
She was all about guile at the time.
Yeah, they all are, right?
Okay, yeah. Ooh, army guy, man in uniform.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Was it Capcom or Konami? Who knows? Who cares? They probably
Capcom. You're right. Yeah. God. Well, then what party was I at?
It's
wow.
Probably just your CTE. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
I'm very worried about my CTE.
It's probably just too many falls off the bicycle.
It's got to be that.
Really good choices there. You know, Butts might be. I wonder if wedding him might be a good idea. He's a wanderer. He maybe finds treasure. You can share that.
Well, if you're going to marry somebody, it'd be great if they were a wanderer, so they could, you know.
They're not always around.
Yeah, they're off doing their own thing.
I'm gonna go wander. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna wed Butts because I think it's a great name, right? I hope he takes my Butts McGinnis. That would be a great name. I don't know why they changed Bart's to Butts. I don't know. It's just hilarious to me. So we'll do that. He's got a cool sword, right? So that might be kind of cool hanging in the living room. French
sure.
Sword. Oh, what's that? Oh, it's my husband's sword.
If you want to be one of those sword guys, yeah, sure. Hanging it out in the open for all to see.
Yeah, and I do like Lobo a lot, but I think being married to him would be too chaotic, if you know what I mean. It'll be fun, but it might be a little too much sometimes. So unfortunately, I'll have to dead him in this situation. Then, yeah, of course, that's probably my 30th time betting Chun-Li in this game.
We can both agree on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she's been on this quite a bit.
Yeah, she comes up randomly a lot.
Randomly. I'm sure.
It's always random, I promise. So there you go. Excitebike Guy. So great having you on, man. This has been a real
great to be here. Great to be here.
Real pleasure. I hope you get the help you need in your head. You know what I mean? Like hope that kind of clears up your cloudiness.
Yeah, it's 2021. I think we all knew as soon as the ball dropped that everything that was bad was over now, and this year would just be nothing but good things. So I just know that I'm going to get the help I need in 2021, just like we all will.
Maybe you can start selling things for $10 instead of $7.50. Nice even number.
Oh, let's not go crazy.
Okay, sorry.
But
well, good luck.
That will always be the dream.
Yes.
So.
Well, it was great to chat with you. Thanks again for joining us. And everybody else, thank you for listening. And we will talk to you all next week, everybody. Bye. Today's playable character was played by Michael Palladino. Check out his Instagram at Bird City Comedy and his new Twitch channel at Cycle_Tarantino at Cycle Tarantino.